If you want to learn English alone, this is a must-watch video because here I'm going to show you 3 useful and practical tips that every English learner who is studying alone must know. So stay with me. Hey student, Teacher Priggs here to help you talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime in English. Now, first and foremost, teacher, can I learn English alone? Is that a possible thing for me? Well, guys, absolutely. I believe that if you put in the hard work, you can learn not just English, but any language you want to. But there is a catch, you will have some challenges along the way on your journey to fluency. And consistency, in my opinion, will be the biggest challenge you may encounter on your journey to fluency. That's why this video is so important, because here I'm going to guide you. I'm going to give you 3 practical tips to help you get there. And the first tip, the first recommendation you must follow is connected with frequency and skills. As I said at the beginning, consistency will be students' biggest challenge. So to learn English alone, the name of the game is consistency. That's why I said frequency. You need to follow the right frequency. So that is the first how-to. Ideally, you are going to follow a frequency of 3 to 5 times a week from 45 minutes to 1 hour and a half. Now, I also mentioned skills because there is a catch. Simply listening to podcasts or watching TV shows or studying vocabulary, saving new words, checking new words, well, that will not be enough if you want to learn English alone. You will need to combine active and passive work. In addition, you need to implement the virtuous circle. Basically, that is something I always talk about here on my channel. A virtuous circle means that you will combine different English skills to achieve the results you want. Fluency, understanding people, talking to people anywhere, anytime. If you want to study alone, if you want to achieve English fluency, throughout your practice, as I recommended a few minutes ago, from 3 to 5 times a week, you will need to implement reading, writing, vocabulary, grammar, listening, pronunciation, and speaking activities. That's why I said just listening or just doing vocabulary, well, that will not be enough if you want to study English alone. So throughout the week, whether you study 3 times or 5 times a week, you will have to work smart and combine reading and vocabulary, listening and speaking, pronunciation and vocabulary, speaking and grammar. Because that way you will be following the virtuous circle that everyone should respect if their goal is to speak English with confidence anywhere, anytime. And here, as I said before, from 45 minutes to 90 minutes, 1 hour and a half. But teacher, I have more time, girl, I can study more. Well, guys, studying more does not mean you are going to learn faster. Especially if you are still getting around the subject, becoming consistent, learning to develop the habit of studying, being disciplined. So maybe you have 3 hours today, but are you going to have 3 hours consistently? That's what I'm talking about. Consistency always wins. I prefer that you sit down and study for 30 or 45 minutes as I recommended, instead of studying for 3 hours one day and then for the rest of the week you do nothing. In addition to that, if you don't follow good guidelines, good strategies, you will begin to lose motivation. Because even though you are studying a lot of information, that information may not actually be the best one for you. And remember, our brain needs rest time, okay? You need to rest. You learn some, then you rest some. Then you get back to the game, okay? That's why the frequency is important. So respect your time, do something else. Now, the second tip is connected with the first one, which is connect the dots, okay? As I explained before, you have to follow the virtuous circle. But how do you do that in practice? When you sit down to study, how do you actually respect the virtuous circle? If you are alone, the easiest way for you to respect the virtuous circle and connect all the English activities is by having a course book with you. Guys, there are many course books available in the market, and I have a big disclaimer here. Using a course book does not mean you are going to study every little thing in the book or do every little silly exercise. That's not what I'm talking about. Can you see a compass here on the screen? Why do we use a compass? Nowadays, not so many people use it unless you are in a forest or doing something really specific. But I like to use the explanation of the compass because it gives you direction. It shows you the way, north, south, east, west. I confuse the direction sometimes, but it just shows you the way. At the end of the day, you are in control and you have to make important decisions, okay? It's the same thing with the course book. The course book will be a compass in your study routine on your journey to fluency. It'll give you directions, but you need to use the course book wisely because unfortunately, course books they follow school standards and they have a lot of unnecessary activities. Therefore, you need to be careful and choose the activities well. So the cool thing about a course book is that it helps you organize what grammar to study, what pronunciation practice to establish, what kind of words to study, materials for you to listen to. There is a subject in the lesson, and that will help you stay focused. It'll help you stay on track if you're trying to learn English alone. But as I told you, you need to be careful, okay? You don't need to do every little thing from the book. Take what is good and ignore what is not so relevant to you. One good series that I always recommend here on my channel is American English File. It's a very good material, but as I said, there will always be extra stuff in these books that I don't recommend you spend time doing, okay? In addition to using a course book as a compass, I also recommend following one teacher to give you directions, okay? You can follow me or your favorite teacher. I'm okay, I won't be hurt, but it's important to follow a teacher here on YouTube or Instagram, and that way that teacher will give you more directions, more guidelines, more strategies to help you stay on track, to help you keep going, okay? Even though it's on YouTube or on Instagram, there are many lessons here, guys. But I recommend choosing one, because if you choose one teacher here, one teacher there, well, there will be too many strategies. And the name of the game is choosing smart. So I recommend not going crazy about the number of teachers you follow to help you on your strategy, on your study routine. The idea is to use this teacher's materials to help you complement your practice and give you more strategies, just as I am doing now, okay? Here on my channel, for example, I have more than 500 free lessons, so use them, okay? And if you don't connect with me so much, as much as you would like to, find someone you click and follow that teacher and use their recommendations and complement your study routine. And hey, if you're enjoying this lesson, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel because every week I have new lessons with the strategies, grammar lessons, vocabulary, phrasal verb, speaking strategies to help you become a better and more confident English speaker. Now to tip number 3. Establish a weekly oral practice. If you follow the virtuous circle the correct way, you will always speak English, even if you are alone. Especially if you are alone, you need to find a way to include speaking exercises on your English study routine. That's what is going to help you speak English and gradually build up the skill to communicate clearly. Because remember, fluency is communication, not perfection. This is something that I always tell my BSA in my academy. That's how I call my students in my online program, baby sardines in the area. All my academy is based on the ocean theme because we swim together in the direction of English fluency. There, I guide them. I give them the direction so that they can use all the lessons they have inside the academy and combine with speaking exercises. And why is this so important, especially if you are studying alone? You will be conditioning, training, teaching your brain to connect the lessons you study with speaking, which should be, I think, which is every student's goal, to speak and understand. But if you only receive information, you just take notes, and you never try to use the information you study, even if you are alone, your brain never understands that. So it'll just receive. No, I just receive. I don't need to do anything. But when you establish a speaking exercise routine, you are constantly conditioning your brain to speak despite your fear, to speak despite the mistakes you make, to speak despite being alone. And that way, even if you just speak a little bit for like 2 seconds, well, 2 seconds no, but 1 minute, 30 seconds, you will already be teaching your brain that you want to speak English and not just study English, okay? Okay, teacher, interesting idea, but how can I do that alone? How am I going to speak? What am I going to talk about? Well, remember the virtuous circle and the 2 other recommendations I gave you in this video? If you follow a course book, every course book's lesson will have a different subject, okay? And based on the subject of the week, if you follow my 2 recommendations, the ones that I gave you before, you will be able to talk about those subjects. So let's say you're using a book, and in that lesson, in that particular lesson, the conversation, the things you're listening to, what you're reading about is about, let's see, buying food at the supermarket, okay? Well, then you can talk about your supermarket routine. Do you go to the supermarket? Then you can talk about it. And you can download a recording app, a voice recording app, and practice. Okay, I go to the supermarket once a week. When I go to the supermarket, I usually buy vegetables and fruits. I go to the supermarket on the weekends because I don't have time during the week. My favorite vegetables are, my favorite fruits are. I also like some junk food, because all of these words, the vocabulary to talk about this, will be in the lesson you're studying, okay? So you see, you're not just studying, you are connecting the lesson with a speaking practice. And I am not going to lie to you. At first, this will be a little bit difficult, but as you keep practicing, as you keep conditioning your brain, that's exactly what you're going to be doing. It'll get easier and easier for you to get your phone and start talking. And that's my entire goal with this video. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Make sure to subscribe and share it with your friends. Other than that, I'll see you next time. Bye!